I know I need to size up with you, and when I defang the Viper, trust me, ain't gonna come from nowhere. Jeff, I already put you out. I don't even know why you're out here right now. Keep on talking. Hey, do me a favor. Why don't you act like this is an AA meeting and you shut your mouth while I'm sharing with the group? And Mustafa, you out here, a boy among men. And I'm gonna tell you what, you got lucky at the Rumble, so I know you're gonna come out here and run your mouth about how bad you are. But let me give you a little bit of a reality check. You see, Mustafa, you said that my eyes don't lie. Well, your eyes don't lie either, because last week, they were closed real tight when I put your simple ass to sleep. And AJ, hey man, be honest with me. How's our old girl Wendy doing?
Back to the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. It's me, Hafeez. With me as always, Devin. And we have a special guest with us today, professional wrestler Nevaeh Chantelle. Nevaeh, how are you doing?
I am doing amazing, and I'm so honored that you guys wanted me on your podcast. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. It's our honor, definitely, to have you on. We've been really excited to talk with you. There were a couple times we almost did this.
Right. We've been doing tag with the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. But life happens.
Yeah,
right.
we made it happen. We're here together. So awesome to have you on. And let's just jump right into it. So first and foremost, with every person that we talk to, for me at least, I always want to know like hear you talk about yourself and like just give people background into like who you are and just some general info, just some background.
So I've been wrestling on the scene for about almost 3 years. I train at the world famous Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. And growing up, I was just a regular wrestler, loved the industry, and wanted to contribute any way I could. So pretty much.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, what were some of your, like, were there some wrestlers that inspired you that you watched, like some specific names that, kind of grabbed your attention? You're like, ooh, this person really made me want to do this.
Chyna was like my idol. Trish Stratus, Jackie Moore, Jazz, Victoria.
Ooh, yeah.
And on the men's side, like I said, Triple H and The Rock were like my two.
Yeah. That was those two, in the Attitude Era, I think for a lot of people just kind of changed the game. So definitely. I really, can agree with that in terms of just my own love for wrestling as well. Devin, I want you to jump in, man. Like I know you got a couple questions.
Yeah, I noticed you mentioned Triple H and The Rock. So that actually piques my interest because I watched some of your videos on YouTube. And I got to hand to you, I love the way you sell. So was those some of the wrestlers that influenced you? Like you paid attention how they sell a move versus other wrestlers?
Yes. How I sell, like for me, when I first started wrestling, selling was a struggle. Because when you're from the hood, you actually really fight. And so if something don't hurt, you don't want to, like, you don't know, but like that's like a legitimate thing.
Yes.
So for me, even if something hurt, I don't like showing my pain. But in wrestling, you are doing the theatrics, you have to show the pain. So when I was studying, I did look at my idols and how they studied. And I even realized like even some of the baddest people that ever done it sold. From The Rock, Triple H, to even Austin Taker sometimes sold in some aspects. So that's who I've been studying. And I've been trying just, like, if you see some of my first matches, you would think I was Superwoman because I wasn't selling at all.
Like, what is this? This ain't nothing.
Right? I felt so bad. I watched one of my earlier matches. I said, dang, I could have sold that better.
Now it was one match that caught my eye. It was you and Mother Endless. All right, and I think it was the first match before the Fall Count Anywhere. You hook, line, and sinker me right there because I'm thinking, all right, you had your comeback, and then it was all over from there. She got the dub. I was like, what? Oh, come on. Like, you got me to that point. So I got to hand it to you. Like, for you to wrestle for 3 years and you selling like that, for me to get me sold on, you just getting this comeback. She's about to get her comeuppance and get the win, and it didn't
Right.
happen. I gotta salute you to that.
Yeah, I think with that match though, anybody who watched like the whole We Want Wrestling series, that was a
Mm.
build up. I think we wrestled 3 times. I think they only aired the 2 matches, but there was a match before that, and how the story was going. Um, the point for that, I went into every match knowing that the fans didn't think that I'm going to destroy her, and that because of who she is, she's not an average person that can just bully and beat up. So I had to always remember in my mind, you have to convince the fans that you're going to win, so she can get her proper heat for beating me, whatever means she beat me. So that's what was my mentality when trying to sell for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like,
All right.
that's awesome. That's awesome. As you're talking to, I'm thinking about in general storytelling as a wrestler, like and the mindset, like coming from you who's doing it right now, like what, how do you go about the storytelling? Like what process do you go through with the person that you're going to be in that dance with in the ring, or just in general? Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
for me, I always ask the promoter, what do you want? What is the point of? Because I always feel like, depending on the long term story, you have some type of plan for that match, whether it's to put me over or my opponent over. There is some type of end game that you're trying to lead to. So I always go in with the promoter's end game in mind when I put a match together. Even like I said, win, lose, draw. I always got to think of the end game. Does this person need to look? Is this person about to challenge for a title? Am I about to challenge for a title? Are we going to have another match? Is this supposed to be personal? Am I trying to just introduce myself to the fans and get myself over? It was just my first match. Always have that type of stuff, and then build the story from there. Get character over. If I'm a heel, make sure they boo me. Um, I realized like my first year wrestling in the New York circuit, it was hard for me to get fans to boo me.
Mm.
It was.
You were just
And the first
naturally
time,
like likable, like people were just.
I don't know, I was evil. I was like yelling at their kids, and they still were cheering for me. I was,
Oh.
I not and like I finally got them to boo me. I wrestled in Queens. It was my last match in New York before the pandemic, and the pandemic hit. And I'm like, wow, the pandemic hit.
I did all
It was
that
like,
work.
Oh
right, I finally
man.
got some heat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the promoter laughed about it, like, damn, I finally hate you. I was like, I know.
And now we gotta pause everything. Damn.
Now we gotta pause
Oh man.
everything.
Yeah. I hear
Speaking.
that. Go ahead. I think we're going
Yes.
the same direction.
We probably are. Speaking of the pandemic, how was the transition from, just going into quarantine wrestling?
Oof. It makes you. It's for me during the pandemic. It was hard. I was going
Mm.
through a lot of personal stuff, and one thing I realized is that wrestling was my mental health outlet. So once wrestling got back, something clicked, and I feel like right now I'm having the best matches of my career because I'm now more grateful for wrestling.
Mm.
Even like I wish we still have fans to full capacity, but I realize for me it's pure gratitude of because it's like what's the old saying? You don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like I miss fans. And when we even do have smaller fans, like I wish I can touch you and I wish I can even because as a baby face, like I used to,
Interaction.
like that interaction and taking pictures with fans and stuff. And so for that, it's like, oh, that type of stuff I miss. But just to be able to get in the ring and do what I love, I'm extremely grateful for, especially in these weird times. Because if you don't have something you love, you can go start crazy.
That's facts.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I got a kind of a big question here. So, you As a black woman in the business, can you talk about that and how it's been for you? Like, have you run into some some challenges, or like has it gone the other way where sometimes it's like, yeah, we want that diversity? Like, how has that been for you, in the
Um,
business?
I feel like I struggle because every promoter, some promoters, I should say, want to hit a demographic. They think that the typical white girl is skinny white girl is what the fans want, and I don't think they give fans credit of wanting diversity. Because I realize in some promotions when I work diverse, like a diverse roster, the fans thrive on it and they love that. When I wrestle, like I say, I wrestle in New York a lot, and most of the wrestlers are Hispanic, Black, and with not only Hispanic and Black, but that's not their gimmick to be Black or Hispanic. They have all different types of unique characters, and the fans thrive on it, especially the kids, like the Black and Latino kids. See a wrestler not being Black, like I said, just being a wrestler, having a cool character, not just a stereotype. And they love that. You see, there's this one character in New York. His name is Bones, and it's like a spooky character, like a Halloween character.
Okay.
And I see the fans light up for him, So, but my own personal experience, I have had promoters I feel like not give me credit because I'm African American, or they feel like I can't be a star because I'm African American. And I've had promoters say, hey, listen, you know, let me push you to the moon because I know my fan base and my fan base likes African American women, you know?
Right.
So I felt like I've dealt with both the best of both worlds.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing that and talking
Yeah.
about that a little bit, especially now too with with women's wrestling in general. I feel like has been blowing up on the mainstream. Like we see what's happening in NXT and in Impact and in Raw and SmackDown too. I mean those rosters have been really just shining. When for me as a fan, I find myself a lot of times gravitating more to like just being like, ooh, I'm excited. I'm really excited about seeing women's wrestling, and then also too seeing black women too being highlighted the way they are now. Like
Yes.
Sasha Banks, being the champion right now on SmackDown and being one of the people that's everywhere in
Stars of the
marketing. Like
company.
one of the stars,
Yes.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. At the Daytona 500, like opening things up. She's in the Star Wars TV show Mandalorian. Like it's great. So I feel like it's a shame if anybody thinks like, oh, I don't want to put over some a black woman or right now, especially like it just seems silly to me to even think that. So I was just
Yeah,
curious
but a
about
lot
your
of these, I don't want to cut you off, but a lot of these promoters
yeah,
still have that mentality, like, that if you're not blonde hair, blue eyes, you can't make money. And
it's
it's
crazy.
like
Right.
Sasha Banks is one of the most over women in this business.
Yeah.
And she ain't got blonde hair, she ain't got blue eyes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And then we got, Bianca Belair,
Facts.
who, just won the Rumble. And we've got this potential matchup at Mania between Bianca and Sasha. What are your feelings on that? Just seeing that potentiality there.
Bro, I almost cried because just the idea after Bianca won that, just the idea, and I put myself back to when I was 9 years old. Like, barely, like, I just remember being 9 years old and barely did they ever let kind of Jackie and Jazz do stuff. Even the tag, I don't know, people can, they have maybe one match on Heat. They barely let them do things together. Maybe because they didn't think those two was going to sell. But if you look back on it, those two could have had a banger before its
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And so now you think 20 years later, and just knowing that one of the nights of WrestleMania can be ended by two highly amazing black women. For every young black girl who's watching wrestling, like it's just, I know I'm gonna cry watching it. Like I already know because I just can imagine a little girl that was my age when I started watching wrestling and what that can do for her. you know, just knowing the possibilities, or for any Black woman coming into this business, the possibilities is right there. It's two
It's
amazing
definitely,
athletes that just
yeah.
made it at WrestleMania. And maybe that can open the independent promoters' eyes about what we can do. So
Yeah.
I am looking forward. I hope WWE don't pull no crazy mess and give us what you know, because
Right,
Right.
right.
we know we think we know. We think like, yeah,
I
no way she's
know.
And then
challenging
they go for the
Asuka. Oh,
Yeah.
swerve.
yeah, because the
It's,
swerve
yeah.
is a new thing. Like, no, this time it's obvious which
Just do
champion.
it. Just do
And
the
that's
right thing. Just
nothing.
do the right thing.
That's
It's
Yeah.
our time.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing against Asuka. It's nothing against
Yeah.
Asuka versus Bianca.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
it's nothing. That match is a banger of its own. But for WWE to finally pull the trigger on two African American, like, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Like, don't mess with that.
Don't overthink
Asuka,
it. Just
right?
it's right there.
Don't mess with what you got. Because
Right.
Asuka can have a banger with Rhea Ripley and it'll be still just good. But just don't
Yeah.
mess with
Yeah.
That's facts.
the, the historic the historic moment that you guys can have. Please don't mess with
Yeah. Yeah.
for a
No,
swerve.
100%. 100%. 100%. Devin, man, pass it off to you.
Oh yeah. So I want to dig deep on a little bit of your history. Where the name, obviously it's your name, Nevaeh Chantelle, but the Immaculate. Where did that name come from? How you get that character?
So the Immaculate Threat came from me messing around, and I heard the word immaculate, and I looked it up, and the definition was perfect, something that wasn't supposed to be perfect, perfect.
Mm.
And I always thought
Imperfect,
about,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, and I always thought of me because I know that certain people didn't think because I was Black, I am thick, that I wasn't supposed to be a wrestler. I'm not the most athletic person. And so but I consider myself perfect. That's just my self love. So immaculate. And then threat is because I'm not what you think the
Mm.
perfect wrestler is, I'm a threat.
Dang. I like that. I like that.
Well,
I
I'm
like
gonna
that a
say I'm
lot.
gonna disagree when you say the most athletic. You could have fooled me. The way your power game, the way you sell, that takes some type of
Thank you.
athletic ability right there in its own. So just more hats to you. I got to salute to you because you made me a fan. I look at your videos. I looked at that Fatal 4-Way from GSW. That was good. I was like, holy shit, this is a good match. So you definitely the future is bright for you. So that
Oh,
bring
thank
bring
you.
me to my no problem, no problem. And that would bring me to my next question. Like, where do you see your career going? Like AEW, WWE? Like, where's the future for?
I I want to be signed to a top promotion. Obviously WWE is the company I grew up with, the company that made me a wrestling fan. But also AEW is a new promotion that has no, like, that I can create my own history and set my own path, So both companies intrigue me. Um and I'll be honored to work for either one and hopefully make a name for myself in either one. So
So there's no lean one way or another.
there's
It just be
there's
like,
no
hey,
lean
wherever. Yeah.
because I see the advantages of both. There's
Okay.
I can't, like, here's the thing, like I said, I would honor to be the SmackDown Women's Champion or the Raw Women's Champion one day. I feel like it's like a prophecy, you know? But then also to be the AEW Women's World Champion for me would be also a prophecy because I'll be, I feel like also, like, when you have a young company like AEW, you don't have that burden, especially when a lot of people dog on the AEW women's division.
I was gonna talk about that.
So
It's good you going there.
So, but
Yeah,
you can,
yeah.
I feel like with that, if I can be one of the women that can elevate a women's division, why not take that opportunity?
Yeah.
You know what I
Not
mean? That's
true.
just my mindset about it. So
Yeah.
either one will be, I'll have the honor I would love to be a part of, because
Well,
I can
speaking
bring I
of, I
can
mean, we we touched on it a little bit with that, with the AEW women's division and people dogging on it. And I'll be honest, like for me, I feel like the talent is there in the AEW women's division. My
definitely.
problem is that they're only showcasing one match per Dynamite most times. Whereas I feel like look at NXT, we had like 3 or 4 on the last episode, on Wednesday, and
Not only, I don't cut
right.
you off, but not only women's matches, but women's stories.
Storylines,
Sure.
yes, thank
Yes.
Yeah,
you,
they're
thank
not
you.
just random
Actual
matches.
storylines, right,
Right.
right. Like
Right.
actually building up a long-term story and investing in characters. And yeah, on AEW, it's kind of like you see it's like a different pair every week, but the stories too are missing. To your point, and so I don't know. What is your take on that? Because I feel you on what you're saying, that there's it's like a blank slate, and if you were to get in there, like you could help to define and build up that division. So, and I totally agree. Right now, like what do you see when you look at the division, like ups and downs?
I feel like they don't want to do the obvious. They're the company that always wants to be like the rebels. But sometimes the obvious is what you go with. Like you could tell they want Britt Baker to be their top girl. And they
Yes.
take I feel like they take her. I feel like with Britt, they take her, but they just like pull the trigger. We know Britt is your top girl. Give her
Thank
your
you.
championship. Make her your top antagonist. And
Yeah,
then this is where you have now the top antagonist, and now you can create a whole bunch of baby faces, a whole bunch of different heroes to try to beat the big bad in a story.
yeah,
It's like like I just feel like that's just I feel
you're
like
right.
they feel like maybe the internet thinks that's too obvious to give her the belt. And it's like, no, okay, sometimes the obvious, just do that. And
Just
you
do it
have
right.
the talent. You have the talent. You have
Yes.
women like Thunder Rosa, Diamante. Like you have
Yeah.
the Nyla
Big Swole.
Rose and
Yep.
yeah, Big Swole, who I feel like gets
Yeah.
Yeah.
lost
Oh
sometimes.
my
Yeah. She.
God.
I.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to understand
Yeah.
what's
Shouts
going
out to
on right
Big
What
now.
the
Swole. She retweeted a tweet
Yes.
because I was like, "Hey, we missed you," and she retweeted our tweet for that because
Yeah,
she
she's
where she's been.
amazing.
Yeah.
But Big, I don't think she's in that AEW women's tour. I don't think
No.
she's in
She's
it.
not. We
No.
talked
No.
about
She
that.
was
And
like
She's
that.
that's
Yeah.
not.
is
We.
mind boggling to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I feel like
Yep.
her and Sheeta could have a banger.
Ah.
Because I
Yeah.
like Sheeta. But I think the reason why Sheeta has been, and I hate that calling somebody a boring champion. I hate that. But the reason why people aren't gravitating to Sheeta as champion is because she has had no story to develop her as champion. Yes, she went on that undefeated streak before she won the belt. But as champion, I feel like they just gave her people to defend the belt against. No build up, no, you know, nothing really to be invested as her as champion. Because not even like she had a real chase after the belt. She just had an undefeated streak and then won it on her first shot
Yeah.
or second.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought she was gonna do something with her and Abaddon, but I
Yeah,
think
that's
that
what I thought.
that was just like a couple weeks. I was like, okay, then now they're gonna give
They
us a
dropped.
story, but yeah, yeah. And to your point, I think the reason why people don't gravitate towards Sheeta is like she's the AEW champion, but they don't even show her. It's like no promo videos about her, nothing to talk about the AEW Women's Tournament. It's just nothing. And I think they dropped the ball. It's just a huge missed opportunity for people like casual fans, just fans, just to get a grasp of what the AEW Women's Champion is all about.
Right. And that's sad because I feel like Sheeta is so talented. The talent, like I said, and like you guys said, it's not like AEW don't have the women to
Right.
make it amazing. They have the women, just they don't know how to build them. And
Yep.
I think, like I said, they don't want to go with the obvious of creating the big bad and Britt Baker. But Britt Baker is the girl that we know is your star. She was your first signing, you know, and if you had Britt as champion and you had Sheeta just wrecking people,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the fans will want to stick Sheeta on Britt to take the belt, and now we're invested in Sheeta because Sheeta is our hope to get the belt off of Britt.
Right. Right. Or
That's
even
the
what they
that
got with Thunder Rosa right now too. I mean, if
yeah.
you have Britt Baker as champion, and then you got Thunder Rosa, who everyone can see, like, oh my God, look how good she is. Like, it just these two forces, you just come together. Like we can see it coming. We see their paths coming together. But like you said, I mean, it just feels like it's so obvious that they're like they don't want to. I don't know. That's just a thing sometimes that kind of that sucks in it's not just AEW. Like WWE will do this too, where we can all see a certain thing that would be really cool to just have happen, and they just say, you know what, let's save it, let's wait. And by the time they actually do it, it's like, oh well, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's just gone, like the moment is past almost. Like, but with this, it's like I hope that they just say, hey, you know what, Britt Baker, like it's time, pull the trigger,
Right.
put the title on her. And then, rebuild, like, have Sheeta be on the chase, have Thunder Rosa be there too. Just have this whole stable of women just like.
Right. Because think about it like this. Think about how you said that. You have Brett as champion, then you have Sheeta go on a path.
Yeah.
Then you have Thunder Rosa go on a path. Hell, you can even have Nyla Rose on another path.
Oh, hell yeah.
You have
hell
girls,
Mm-hmm.
and you can even use the Dark system to just have them wreck girls from Dark.
Yep.
The enhancement talent, and you can just have 3 girls, 3 potential challengers, and then whoever gets Britt, and that's when you kind of gauge fan interest of who gets who you're gonna who she drops the belt to. But that's to me just something that I see.
100%. Did you catch the Elimination Chamber this
I
past
did.
Sunday? What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I thought that Asuka should have defended the title in the women's. Like that could have been Rhea's debut.
Mm-hmm.
That could have.
We talked about that too.
Right.
I feel like a lot of us on the same.
Like Rhea could
Yeah, just have
honestly,
a debut.
I did like the WWE Women's Tag match. I thought that was pretty good. Even though I kind of didn't want them to defend the tag titles until they faced Raquel and Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, Dakota.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like that's gonna be a banger. But it was a cool tag match. I enjoyed the both elimination chambers were good to me. That Miz swerve though.
I feel like a lot
You
of
know
people
what,
talk
though?
about that. Like, what?
Here's the thing, like when I saw it, I said, "Oh, okay," because I really didn't want him to keep having. I didn't want him to have that belt going into WrestleMania. I didn't want him to have the contract. So I was like, okay, and I didn't because it's been a while. I feel like since the contract was used in a exciting way, in a way that got people talking. So he had. So I know it's not the most popular decision for Miz to be WWE champion, but I feel like he couldn't have lost the title match.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we just gotta see what happens. I'm actually really looking forward to this Bobby Lashley push that's now going on though.
Yeah.
So that's like I am looking forward to that. But we gotta see what they do next Monday.
Yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah. I have a feeling Drew might show up.
Yeah.
Really?
True.
Oh man.
But you know what though? They did. They got all the black folks happy just on March 1st to remind us it ain't Black History Month no more. They said it's not Black History Month no more.
Just
that's when Bobby Lashley powers down and he's back to
March 1st.
Right.
Ends. Damn.
Yeah, that's the cue. That's when Drew McIntyre, Claiborne is all back to reality.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
But yeah, I enjoyed the pay-per-view. And Edge did pick the champion that I wanted him to pick.
I think that pick seemed pretty obvious from the time that he won the Rumble. I felt like, okay, the top heel versus a babyface Edge, it makes sense. It makes sense to do that. So, I feel like, okay, that was an example of them not overthinking it too much. They kind of drew it out a little bit. I liked how they used Edge with like having him, try to put Drew over and say, hey, I see you, I like what you're doing, but I'm a threat. Take me seriously. Then he went to NXT, then he went to SmackDown, and putting everybody over first. So I thought it was cool, but at the end, they made the right choice.
You know what I thought they were going to do was play up more of Randy Orton, so it could like kind of play up that rivalry just a little bit, just so the fans can think that Randy might win the Chamber.
Yeah.
Just so like they can mess with us.
Right.
I thought they were going to try to play that up more, but they kind of went for the Roman route. Because, and I think, and this is just my opinion, I think they went for the Roman route because fans was losing interest in the Kevin Owens feud. So that's why they had to do that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of it, I think everybody was on the same page that come WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is Universal Champion, defending that title, in one of the end shows, whether it be the Saturday night or the Sunday night show, is gonna happen. And for it to be Edge, I think that makes sense. Randy Orton, that whole thing, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not sure what they're doing necessarily with. I mean, I feel like the Fiend is what's happening, but they're drawing this out, and this whole thing with Alexa is going on, which.
Yeah. Look, you know what though? I enjoy the Alexa thing because it's cool to see a woman in a feud, and it's not a romantic storyline.
Yeah,
it's her as an antagonist. That's what I personally like about it. But they are drawing it out. It's like maybe they're just trying to wait for Mania to give them the finale. But then I feel like you should have had him face regular Bray at TLC, and then have him come back.
Right. I feel like they don't utilize that, just regular Bray enough. Like sometimes I feel like it'd be better to just have Bray be that, Mr. Rogers character in ring more, and then bring out the Fiend when he needs to, versus the Fiend kind of being a regular presence at pay-per-views all the time.
Right. It's just like the Demon for Finn Balor. We don't see
Exactly.
We don't see the Demon that often, and we don't need to see the Demon that often.
Nope. Right.
So that's what I thought they originally were going to do with the Fiend.
Yeah.
Same here. And then every week we start seeing the Fiend in the red light, and it just kind of lost its mystique. I was like, man, to me, I was like, okay, I don't care about the Fiend anymore. Just the way they would just build, and you see them and to Hafeez's point, we saw more of the Fiend than actual Bray. I was more intrigued by Bray, the character, the Mr. Rogers. I wanted to see more of that, to see, more of the Firefly show, how he's going to pull that, tie it into his wrestling. That's what I just wanted to see.
Right.
Now, you mentioned Rhea Ripley coming up, and potentially she should have gone against Asuka. So a lot of the call-ups that we've seen from NXT to Raw or SmackDown, there have been a lot that have been like, oh man, like what happened? Like they're in NXT, they're great, and then they go to Raw or SmackDown, and it's like sometimes they just don't know what to do with these characters. For Rhea, what do you see? Is this, because for me this is one where I'm like, they can't mess this up.
They can't mess it up.
Like, she's just so over.
Right. I just feel like, in my mind, and this is just my mind, she goes on a rampage until Mania, beats Asuka, and sets up the perfect antagonist for Becky's return. It's right there. Because Becky's coming back probably by June, at the latest.
Yeah.
So maybe like
Raw after Mania at the earliest.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So
that's a good call.
It's right there. You cannot mess up Rhea Ripley. I felt like she could have got lost on SmackDown.
Oh hell yeah.
She would have got lost on SmackDown. Raw is right there for her for the taking. And it's just, I don't care who you feed her to. I don't care if you have to just let her beat up, Peyton Royce, and nothing against Peyton Royce, but nothing against, have her beat up maybe some NXT girls. Just have her every week on Raw, she needs to be doing.
Feed her,
yes. Until maybe Fastlane.
The Dana Brooks,
exactly.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
Fastlane, maybe give her a challenge, like an upper tier girl, held here, Charlotte or somebody with a name a little bit. Um, she beats them, setting her up for Asuka at Mania. That's
Hmm.
simple.
Yeah.
That's that's simple. And then, like I said, when she wins the title, her first challenger can easily be Becky
Yeah.
coming back off of maternity leave.
I love that. I love
Now,
that.
do
Rhea
you
versus Becky would
think?
be great.
Now, do you
Go ahead, Dev.
think that WWE would just take the title off of Asuka, give it to Charlotte, so they can set up the rematch from last year WrestleMania between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley?
Yes, and that's what I thought they were going to do.
Mm.
I thought they were going to just give the title to, like, maybe have Charlotte turn, um, make her beat Asuka, then set up the rematch. But I don't. I think they have other plans. Maybe they had make Boss Lacey got pregnant, so I don't know exactly what the plans was before
Right.
that. So honestly,
It's real confusing right now with that,
yeah,
with
with the
that thing
Raw
getting thrown in
women's,
there. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I do see Rhea being a top player.
Absolutely. Yeah, because right now, with the way that Raw ended for Charlotte, you had Charlotte and Asuka, they took an L and then they kind of butted heads. Charlotte tried to pick up Asuka and she was like, nah, get away from me.
Yeah,
And then
because
she had that
Asuka could,
argument.
right?
Go ahead.
Asuka could easily turn, and
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
nobody
Yeah.
would.
true too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Asuka should be actually in this case. Asuka should be the one that turns, but I feel like also like Asuka turning and going against Charlotte will make it obvious that Charlotte will probably win the title.
Mm,
And I think that no one wants, like, I personally am not. I'm personally not. I'm personally a fan of Charlotte, so I don't mind her being champion. I feel like though for the overall women's division, if you want it to grow, you can't keep going back.
right,
And I feel like at
right.
this point, Charlotte doesn't need the title, but Charlotte is there if you do need a champion to elevate a new person. If you
Yeah,
have
to
a
put
like a
somebody
like
over.
so like a Rhea Ripley, if you wanted to put the belt on Charlotte for the purpose of giving Rhea that star boost,
Yeah.
that's when Charlotte should hold a championship. Is when you have a girl that you think should get that star boost.
In my mind, that's kind of, I feel like that's what's coming. Honestly, like I love what you're saying about Asuka, and if somehow, because this has happened to Asuka before, where right before WrestleMania she just dropped a title, and
Yeah.
didn't have that moment. So to have it happen to her again, honestly, would kind of be like, why again? I feel bad for
Yeah.
her, but my gut is telling me that they love Charlotte, and I could see them saying, hey, let's run back Charlotte and Rhea Ripley at Mania, but this time we have the title on the line and put Rhea over, give her the championship. I don't know. Something tells me that's gonna happen, but you
Or
know,
the good old triple threat.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Good.
could, yeah.
Yeah. They like to do the triple threats at
They
WrestleMania.
like to do the little triple threat.
They
So
do.
They
Wouldn't be the
do.
first time Charlotte was in a triple threat at Mania.
exactly. But that one, and this is the unpopular opinion, that one I didn't mind because what people fail to realize is that they were always going to do Ronda versus Charlotte at Mania.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Becky kind of was like
Yeah.
they didn't expect
So
that.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted a comedy. So I'm
Right.
sorry, fans. Maybe this will be the heat that I've been always wanting, but Ronda was the Becky was the one that got added.
You
I
heard it
like that.
first.
You heard
right.
it here.
Becky was the one that got added.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, with the way that the moment at Survivor Series happened with Nia Jax and Becky and accidentally, breaking her nose and the blood and the pose, like all that, I feel like that set us on that path to where now, people are like, oh my God, this iconic image. And then, wanting to see Ronda versus Becky because it didn't happen at that matchup. And then just the build up and she kept calling her out. It's like, and the fans were they just kind of had no choice but to have Becky in that matchup. So yeah, you're right. All the smoke this way for that one. Becky Lynch was the third wheel in that
I want all
in
of it.
that whole thing. Yeah,
I want all the smoke.
all of it. Right.
Speaking
Oh
of
man.
Rondo, you see her coming back.
Yes, but not on a full time capacity.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
she'll be back though. I think they'll have, like, if they have a little spotlight match for her, they'll have one. Um, I don't know, like with Rhonda, I liked Rhonda's what she contributed, but I didn't like some of the backstage and some of the posts and some of the fake this, fake that. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Just as somebody that's in the business,
Yeah.
I've
Hey,
done
you don't
like
never say
I've
the
messed
F
up,
word.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm somebody who fucked up my force. I don't mean to cuss. I'm somebody who
No,
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 just
no,
it's
you
all
tore
good.
can.
Go
arm.
ahead. Go
Absolutely.
ahead.
I'm somebody who just got over a minor knee thing, my first major injury in wrestling with my knee. So I wouldn't even say major; they're both like minor injuries, but something that's scary like that. This business ain't fake, you know. I've been bumped up, bruised, my mouth been busted. So when people say that fake word and like I'm not a like this ain't real combat sports, girl, you get in the ring with me, I'ma really punch you. Like, I'm not gonna baby you and like MMA fighter, yes, I respect all your accolades. But that doesn't take anything away from what the women of wrestling, especially
Exactly.
women of wrestling in 2021, put in. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure some of the women I wrestled in the last 2 years can hit just as hard as Ronda
Right.
Like that. I want to see this match now. I want to see the Nevaeh
Book it.
Chantelle, the
Book
Immaculate Threat against Ronda Rousey. Book it.
Book it, book it. And I want my check deposited immediately. I need my check immediately, and I'll be there.
Oh man. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Devin, you got any more questions? Because I'm just I feel like we're just having a good time right now. I could talk about just everything wrestling today, but
Right.
I also know we're getting close to our time here. So
Oh, we
just
got about
Yeah.
20 minutes left, man. We're good.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
keep going. Keep going, man.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess in general, so this whole we got the AEW and NXT, like the Wednesday night wars kind of going on, and I don't know. Those are the two companies that I kind of gravitate more towards more a little bit for just some of the I don't know. Just they're the two that feel the freshest for me at times. For you, because I'm hearing rumors. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but that NXT might be, switching out and may not be a part of the Wednesday night nights. They might be moving into a different night. But for you, Nevaeh, in terms of as a wrestling fan, like how is it for you just kind of seeing those two kind of on Wednesday nights and going back and forth? Like, what's that experience for you?
I enjoy both products. I tend to watch NXT on Wednesdays, and then I'll watch it because I have on demand, so I can watch AEW the next day. And especially like at my shoot job, I have like a TV that I can just put on freaking NXT while study and stuff. So for me, I watch both products. Like if there's a real match on AEW that I'm dying to watch, I'll watch that and maybe watch NXT the next morning. I think it's just first off, it's cool, but this is not. I think, and I'm 29. I'll be 30 in June. So I watched the tail end of the Monday Night Wars, and this is not the same. It's
Right,
This is not the same. Don't think
right.
this is the
No, no,
same.
no. Oh, no.
Um, WWE will not die if AEW beats the next six. Sorry, it won't. You're gonna need a lot more ammo than that to kill Vince McMahon's empire. Um, but it is cool to see finally a company bring the heat to WWE and have that fresh new company. I feel like Impact like 10 years ago was almost there. They were on the
Yeah.
They
cusp,
were. Yep.
and then and I hate to say it like this, but Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, I feel like destroyed that company and they had to work their way back up. But by the time they got to because the current Impact product is really good, and but now I feel like they have to now compete with AW and there's a lot in New Japan, and we have a lot more access to a lot more wrestling. So Impact went from the second company to having to really fight with, maybe New Japan and Ring of Honor for who's taking number three.
Mm,
When you had a strong hold on number two,
yeah. Do
you
you think
know,
that this crossover that they're doing is like how do you feel about this whole thing?
I
Because
feel
you
like
mentioned New Japan and Impact.
the crossover will hurt Like I don't think it's gonna hurt Impact. I think it'll give it the relevancy of old, you know. But you have to understand that AW is the new fresh hotness. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't think it's gonna. I feel like if they had a public business falling out, Impact will be effed over because everybody was at AEW side.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and I don't think that a lot of people think about it like that. No matter how good the wrestling is, if they have a falling out business wise with AEW, everybody's
Yeah.
going to blame Impact for it because AEW is the more popular person or the most,
Right.
the more popular product. Even if they have another falling out with New Japan, I
Yeah.
feel like New Japan will be okay because they have all the basically the Japanese market is their market, but they'll kind of slow down their American stuff.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, like I just want Impact to be careful because their product right now is the best I've seen it in years.
Yeah, especially their women's division. That
Definitely,
definitely, man. Jordan Grace, Jazz over there, they doing some serious shit over there.
definitely.
Yeah. 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 Devin, you got another question?
Yeah, so I want to switch subjects a little bit because just about the quarantine wrestling. Like, all right, now you had a year of quarantine wrestling from 2020. Is there anything you would do different in 2021 heading in?
Um, I think that I'll be. I think that I think when I first started coming back off of quarantine, I took every single match that I could, and I think that was good because I was able to get some of the cobwebs off of wrestling. But I think I would have been more careful which places I work, which bookings I work, which matches I work. Um, because I feel like when you come off of quarantine, you want to wrestle, 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 and you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And like I'm very open with my mental health and going through problems with my mental health. And I feel like I took every match that was offered to me, not really think, okay, do you need this match? Is this match going to be beneficial for you for your career? Is this, do you want to run this risk? Is this person doing COVID tests? Like you don't think about all that stuff when coming straight out of quarantine. You just ready to wrestle because you haven't wrestled in. I think by the time I wrestled, it had been 4 months. I think I wrestled back again in July, late July, early August. I wasn't training like that, so basically, I'm literally going from being bedridden to back in the ring.
Wow.
You know, so those type of decisions, I wish I was more smarter about in quarantine wrestling. Like right now, if the match don't make sense, I'm not taking the booking. Or if it's not a match that'll elevate Nevaeh Chantelle, I don't want to take the booking. Whether it's a new company, whether it's an opponent I never wrestled, if it, and also like I said, my health is more important, and just I'm now thinking more instead of just that itch to get in the ring. I'm now more business minded in 2021. How
Yeah, real quick too, because as you were talking, I was just thinking like you've mentioned a couple times, your mental health and how wrestling has kind of been that thing that's helped you with that. If you don't mind, could you maybe just for people who might be listening who kind of have their own issues going on too with that, just you being open about that. Can you talk a little bit more about that and just what you go through and how you are just dealing with it?
so basically I deal with depression and anxiety. So I'm always anxious. I'm always overthinking. I have anxiety attacks. And for the people who go through that, understand you're not by yourself. Find something you love, find something that you're passionate about. Because that will be your happy place. I journal my feelings down, and I understand that not everything that my anxiety tells me is real. So the times that I feel like I'm not good enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not this, I always got to tell myself that's just my anxiety talking, and that I can do something. Also, I have people that I have friends I can vent to. I think having a good support system, also when you deal with mental health like that, is very important. And like I said, journaling for me has been a lot of help, and having a passion.
Yeah, I think that's. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that, because I think that's real important for people to hear, because people that see your matches and see you, they sometimes we don't know what's going on for somebody, right? Like people, they'll make assumptions, and then to hear your truth like that, it's like, oh wow, I didn't even see that, and I go through this too, and the way that you are able to you know find ways, like you said, finding something you're passionate about, something you love, having that support system, it's like, it's inspiring, to hear just you share that. And I just hope that, for people listening, that they take your words and find that inspiration too, to say like, all right, I'm not alone. And, there's, let me try this, let me try that, so, yeah, just thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah, man. Devin, you got another question?
Yeah, yeah. So you were speaking about, about depression, anxiety, about mental health. Was there ever a time when you was just overthinking a match, or you was about to get ready, but you just couldn't do it?
Actually, no one actually ever knew about this. There was a match at Dojo Wars. I was literally bathroom crying because I was nervous about something, and it wasn't about. I knew it was my anxiety. I was like, literally, I was stressed. I literally had an anxiety attack in the bathroom at Dojo Wars. Before I had this match, and I'm not going to say the match because I don't want my opponents to feel bad or go back and wonder, oh, I don't want that. But that day I just was having a really rough day. Um, and yeah, like I said, it was a scary moment because when you're wrestling, you always want to be on top of your game. And then after the match, I was dizzy. I had the dizzy spell. Like I didn't faint, thank God. But I went to the bathroom. I sat down. I thought I couldn't breathe. Had full blown another full blown anxiety. So, but I
Wow.
think that shows credit to my love of wrestling that I was able to pull it together for the match
Yep.
and was able to at least get myself backstage away from the fans, away from my colleagues, and was a then have my anxieties had. So like that was one scary moment. It happened actually about like a year ago.
Yeah, I think just you know, you again, you sharing that, I think it's a positive thing, to for people to hear, and then your awareness about it, and then like not just acknowledging it, that this is happening. I have anxiety attacks. This is a real thing, and for that's, I think that's a big step, for a lot of people. So I just want to commend you for sharing that, with us here, with the listeners. We're getting close to time. I don't want to push it too close because we got about like 6 minutes left. Before we do cap it, always we like to let our guests kind of shout out pretty much everything in terms of social media, or just things that you're passionate about, that you want to let us know about. So this is kind of your moment, basically, to kind of just let the people know just some of the things you're part of, and things that you want to just educate us on. So if you will, the floor is yours.
So basically, I have merch.
Get that merch.
Right? It's what a
I love
maneuver slash
that.
what a maneuver slash Nevaeh Chantelle. Buy your merch. I got sweatshirts. I got t-shirts. I got tank tops.
Yes.
Yeah, got to
You can
copy that.
follow me on all social media at Nevaeh Chantelle. Um, I have a couple of bookings coming up. I cannot disclose yet because they're not officially announced. But also look out for YouTube stuff. I have some matches that I've done some tapings for that should be, coming out soon. All that information is gonna be on my social media. Um I would just like to give a quick shout out though to all the companies that have helped me post pandemic. Thank you to Goddesses of War, Pick This, We Want Wrestling, GSW. Standalone Wrestling, and many more companies that I will be working with in the future. Thank you guys for just helping me and giving me an opportunity in the future.
Awesome, awesome. And with that, Devin, because we are at time. So, Devin, please tell the people where they can catch us.
Yes, all the time. So there's a lot of ways you can catch us on the social platforms. There's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I don't get my TikTok. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I'm like, what my TikTok
My
sound
bad,
effect?
my bad. I missed my cue there.
Right, it's all good. It's all good, man. And Facebook, and we have an awesome Facebook group called the Clark Street Wrestling Community as well. Got 123 members and growing. Trying to get to our goal of
Let me
200
like
before.
that.
Got you. Most definitely. Be 124th. There we go. And we got some wrestlers in our group too, so you will feel welcome. We'll welcome with open arms. So yeah, can't wait to do that. And there's only one website you can check out for all those social web links. That is clarkstreetwrestling.com. ST for the abbreviation for all your social web links. And we have all our episodes connected to YouTube as well. And I gotta mention, we hit that 100 for YouTube subscribers. One-on-one today. We hit 100 on my birthday yesterday, so it was my birthday, celebration.
Happy belated
as well.
birthday.
Happy
Thank
belated
you.
birthday. Yes.
Thank you. You know what? And I got to shout out my son because he made this awesome wrestling belt for me right here. My prince, my young one, Junior, aka DJ, they call him. He made this belt for me, so I got to shout him out for that. And can't forget about our lovely merch. We got our notebook right here if you need it. And our lovely tank shirts as well, clarkstreetwrestling.com/store, where you get all your merch needs for your pleasure.
Yes. And with that said, first of all, thank you again to Nevaeh Chantelle, the Immaculate Threat. Thank you so much for being with us. And you know what? We're going to have you on here again because this was a lot of fun.
Definitely, always. I promise we won't play podcast tag anymore.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Sometimes when it happens like that, and you wait for some big moment to happen, like it's when the moment finally happened. Right now, it was definitely worth it. So thank you again for being with us here. So for Nevaeh, for Devin, I'm Hafeez. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast.